Habari ya jioni kwa wale ambao wanatutazama na wale ambao watajiunga na sisi leo. Niko barikiwa hapa kukuwa na mandugu zangu baada ya wikendi mrefu. Kwanza Miguda, habari gani?
Niko salama kakangu. Baada ya wikendi mrefu vile umesema. Imekuwa wikendi ngumu kwangu juu kama jana nilikuwa naumwa na kichwa, lakini kwa mapenzi ya Mungu nimeamka kama niko mzima, nashukuru Mola. Na pia wiki nimeanza vyema, nashukuru Mola. Na pia ninatumai ya kwamba tutaendelea vizuri mpaka tumalize hii wiki.
Okay, asante sana kwa hiyo. Kama umepata afya yako, hiyo ni mzuri zaidi. Msimamo habari gani?
Ndugu yangu salama kabisa. Mimi nimeshinda poa, nimeshinda vyema. Namshukuru Mungu. Sijui nini hapo ndugu yangu hapo Miguda na wale ambao wanatufuatilia upande wa comment section, haswa ndugu yangu Gudia, nimpe shukrani zangu za dhati haswa kwa kile ambacho ameweza kufanya. Kwa kweli Mungu amjaze pakubwa zaidi. Umeshindaje?
Nimeshinda. Ameongea
na kwa kweli nimeshukuru pakubwa sana, kwa sababu hiyo safari ilikuwa inaniweka wasiwasi, kesho nitaweza kuitimiliza kwa mapenzi ya Mungu.
Niaba ya Sisi na tunamshukuru sana kuwezesha hayo mambo yatimike. Mimi pia namregeshea shukrani kubwa sana kwa sababu amekuwa anatusaidia sana tukifikia malengo kama hayo. Tunamshukuru na tunaomba Mungu azidi kumwezeshea. Labda habari kutoka kwako uliko, labda msemo kweli wa kweli.
Usikorogeke hapa Benson, unajua msimamo, lakini je, msimamo wa nani? Kwa hiyo huu ni msimamo wa ukweli. Ni msimamo wa ukweli, wa ukweli. Kwa hiyo sasa nimetumia hilo la mzee wa ukweli ili kidogo
Sasa ni kama unatuzimia data kwa sababu sasa tujui tukuite nani. Miguda, labda wacha nipatie Miguda pia nafasi. Miguda, wewe kwako
Kwangu napenda kuambia kwamba pale niko nashukuru Mola bado shukrani zote napatia Mola. Mola amekuwa mwema kwangu, ingawa tuko na changamoto hapa na pale kuhusu hali ya anga, lakini ametuwezesha. Tumetoka katika ukame, sasa tumeingia katika msimu wa baridi na mvua nyingi, lakini amepatia afya nzuri, afya njema, na vile vile tujakuwa na changamoto hapa na pale. Na pia ningependa kusalimia ndugu yangu na pia rafiki yetu Gudia, na pia kuomba Mola azidi kumbariki kwa kile alichofanya ndugu yangu Msimamo. Alikuwa mtu mzuri, amezungumza yake yote, lakini kwa neema ya Mungu amefanikiwa, na sasa ni vizuri kama pia yeye amefurahia, anakuja kwa studio kama kuna furaha. Hiyo ni kitu kizuri sana. Sasa shukrani kwake sana. Kwako Brother Benson.
Asante sana. Let me also take this opportunity to thank Gypsy Corner or Goodyear for the commitment and the favor that he has done for us. We really pray and hope that God will continue to bless you. Secondly, it has been a very, very, very active, or would I say, weekend. We had so much going on. We had Rigathi Gachagua had his rally. We had ODM, Linda ground was in Mombasa, Tononoka grounds. We had Linda Mwananchi, that is also was headed by Edwin Sifuna. But the saddest part of it is that we've lost a 28-year-old that due to a stray bullet, because you remember yesterday there were tear gas canisters was thrown on the rally. And those are beg so many questions. We are also witnessing, or we know right now, when you go to northern part of Kenya, ni kama kuna hunger. Unajua ile ukame imekuja na watu unaona watu maisha yao hayako vizuri vile vile. Sijui ni serikali wamechukua hatua gani ili kuhakikisha kwamba hao Wakenya pia wanaishi ni kama Wakenya, wasiishi tu ni kama si binadamu. Hiyo ndio pia changamoto ambayo tuko nayo hapa. Na pia kuna changamoto ambayo labda pia Miguda, wewe unatoka Migori, kuna jambo ambalo lilitendeka Migori kati ya between member of parliament for Suna West, is it Honorable Masara and Ochila Yako, and what happened in the CBD of Migori. You know, violence usually does not have a place. I don't know why sometimes the leaders usually resort to violence. And that is even what we saw, especially in Kitengela. Why do you have to do that? Because the very moment, like when people are very peaceful and you throw tear gas canisters, it's no longer a rally. Because remember, if you look at Kitengela, look at the exits. How, because you throw people into chaos, that is something that we need to talk about, and to call out the agencies that are given the mandate, especially to make sure that people should hold rallies, whether you like them or you don't like them, they should all, because this is now something we saw it with Rigathi Gachagua, now we are seeing it with Wakina Sifuna too. And you know, it's something that I don't know how it can be dealt with. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Let me just go and quick review on the news that are making headlines in the Kenyan. Okay, this is Ruto sponsors Ruto sponsors Kenyan EPL fans trip to Old Trafford. Okay, Alai dismisses Sifuna Kitengela rally crowd citing, and you know, this is something that we need to talk about. Maybe we need to talk about, because Alai is a ODM member, and I think this is kind of like mocking Raila Amolo Odinga in his grave. This is what Alai said. I might be wrong, but you will correct me. Kileleshwa member of Kileleshwa MCA Robert Alai posted Monday critiquing crowds at Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna Linda Mwananchi rally in Kitengela the day before, noting that Raila Odinga drew bigger turnouts in 1997, 2007, 2013, 2017, and 20, yet never won. The event with Sifuna ODM secretary alongside Babu Owino and James Orengo aimed at mobilize against President William Ruto, but ended in tear gas chaos from police. Supporters back Alai point on turnout not equaling to votes, which critics saw Sifuna's draw as a generational shift after Raila death in October 2025, signaling tensions ahead of 2027. Now, what do you think Alai means when he said that Raila did get so many crowds but did not win election? He never won, but he's a member of ODM, and the same ODM, they've always said that the victory of Raila Odinga was stolen.
Okay. First, let me begin by the news you have read concerning the president sponsoring EPL fans from Kenya to travel to Old Trafford. I don't know, is he pitching only Man U fans, because we have mixer of fans?
No,
Why are
it's
they on travel?
It's Arsenal
This
and one Arsenal
Man
fan,
U,
one Man U fan. Masigara is called
I know Masagara.
Masagara, yes.
So one Man U fan and one Arsenal fan to Old Trafford and
Yes.
Emirates.
Yeah, and they're
Okay.
going to stay there for a week.
Oh, that is good. That's good. That's good for
Yeah.
those young people, because you understand they are content creators and they have been all over. So that's good for them. What I want to say concerning the issue of the Kileleshwa MCA, you understand that. Remember, he supported Oburu Kenyatta in 2017 and even 2013 before he comes to ODM 2022 for him to be given certificate to run for the Kileleshwa ward election. It means that even before you ask the question that they have been protesting about Raila's victory, he has never supported him at first place. So he should not be the first person complimenting on Raila's crowd, which has never been part of that crowd. The only time we saw him in the crowd is 2022. Where has he been? So all of a sudden, he cannot be clever that he can notice the difference between Raila's crowd and Sifuna's crowd. That is just jealous, because Sifuna and Babu are young people like him. And by the time he was holding a gun against Babu Owino, people were saying that he's gaining popularity in Nairobi, that he will be even a governor. Now, reality is now hitting him that he's nobody in the city politics. So it's a matter of young people who don't embrace each other, young people who have jealous when other people are thriving. They should just accept that the crowd yesterday, even if it could be Raila's crowd, but the people who were present were Edwin Sifuna and Babu Owino. But dynamics might be different, because maybe the crowd for Babu and Sifuna might give them victory, unlike Raila. You never know that fortunes was not for Raila, but fortunes can be for these young people. So up to now, we cannot use history to actually outrule the present or outrule the future. It can be determined by the dynamics of the politics. Things have changed, and this is a new generation. These are new people. Therefore, no one should be loud that because Raila was not elected. But there are the same people who have saying that Raila's victory has been stolen. So how do you say that he was never elected? His victory has been stolen. You never supported him twice. You never supported him. So you are mixing up many things here. So that is someone who do not have a stand. Someone who is not he doesn't have facts. So it tweets without facts. So I think I just want to leave it at that point.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Miguda. Joseph, how are you doing? Okay, Joseph has dropped Miguda. All right, thank you so much. Maybe they will come and at least give their view. Miguda, let's go to the conversation of today. Yesterday, we had a rally in Kitengela. Until today, there are people who are still doubting that the rally, that all the photos that we are seeing from Kitengela, some of them are saying that it is AI. That is what some people are saying. And when you do comparison of the two, it seems, or it is, the reality is the Kitengela one was very successful, but when you look at what happened in Tononoka grounds, actually, it is not the ODM that we used to know. It means there must be a failure somewhere, or there must be something that is happening, especially with coordination. I never saw at any time during Raila time when Raila was bribing the crowds to go to the stadium. But yesterday, there was a video going around on the social media that the people from Mombasa were being given some money. I think you met those videos on the social media just to attend the rally of ODM, which was not the case ever since for the 20 years that we've known ODM. So that is something that, and when you look at the rally in Mombasa before we come to Kitengela, it was a low key, I would say so. Remember Junet coming out and telling Okech Salano to print ODM T-shirt with the president on it. You know, it was not really organized. The way the party leader Oburu talked, it was not connecting to the crowd. At some point, Oburu was heckled by the young people who were who were attending the rally, especially. And even if you look at the organization of it all, was not as it's supposed to be. So we are going to weigh on that, then we will weigh down on Kitengela. Let me also take this opportunity. Joseph, can you say a word of hi as you give your view on what happened in Tononoka grounds?
Hello, Brother Benson. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Hello, Miguda. I hope you can hear me too. Thank you for hosting us today, this evening. I've heard the questions and I've heard what you have been talking about. I sorry for I pressed somewhere and I got lost. So I think I came here and said that we are looking at the Kitengela rally, and I say that it will be a massive rally. Right now, there is RICO effect that has happened within that Kitengela rally that has even forced other things to come up, and people are trying to mitigate the fire. You know, the fire has already been ignited, so they are trying to use their fire extinguishers to extinguish that fire, but it is impossible because some of them, I saw even some of the likes of Akina Alai saying that Kitengela ukienda tu utapata watu, hata ukitaka tu kuwa na rally utapata tu watu tu huko wamekungojea ufanye rally. But now the problem is you can talk about Kitengela right now. Okay, talk whatever you want, but these guys are going to Bungoma, so we are waiting to see how Bungoma will be, because I think also Bungoma will be very big. I think they have had ripple effect that even today Ruto has just called Western leaders because of what seems like it is a very big battle for him, and I think also he's going to try to tear gas people there. I've seen he's a man with no shame. He tear gas everything and everybody he wants. He has tear gas also people today in Nairobi. I don't know why he's tear gassing people even who are not even doing anything wrong. People are just come to talk to the people, and nobody has complained to them that they need to be open roads or what. But him himself with his little thinking thinks that he can be able to use tear gas and disperse people. Then he start telling us that he does not know how people are being tear gassed, and he does not know how people are being there is all this police brutality meted against the people. So for me, it is just that it is a very difficult time, and the government needs to know if they continue that, they are just making the people just angry and angry. So, Brother Benson, sorry, I need to take some call here, please.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Joseph. I hope you will come back. Miguda, what is your take on the Tononoka Grounds rally, especially when you look at the faction of Oburu? Is there something that is missing in them that they need to correct so that they can have that connectivity, like how they can connect with the grounds? Because even like the way Oburu was giving that speech, you know, it was very weak speech anyway, to be sincere.
Okay, what actually happened at Tononoka ground?
Yeah.
Personally, I believe that we had only one Raila Odinga, and he was the only man of the show. So when he died, he went with his show. So there's no show, there's no more show in ODM. The owner of the show went with his show on the grave. That's why when you saw yesterday's meeting, it was not ODM. The people are bribed, and the people are not even full to the brim. But in Kitengela, people came out organically. Raila's rally used to be organic. People used to come by themselves. That Raila Odinga was going to a certain area. People just mobilize themselves and come out. But yesterday we saw the Oburu wing are bribing people to attend the rally. Then there were not a large number, and it was not energetic. It was not, even if you look at the viewers, there were less viewers compared to Kitengela, because at 850 were watching, but in Kitengela 7.1K were watching. You understand? So I think there's a big difference, and it's high time they realize that people have what we call self-determination, that they can think by themselves. You don't need to do things for people, then you come and inform them of what we are already discussed. So I think, in my perspective, the youths are good to go, and I don't want to cry too loud concerning tear gas, because Joseph is talking about tear gas. To me, that is what Raila taught us, that hiyo ni mchuzi ya siasa. That's what makes politics to be sweet and opposition. ODM without tear gas is not ODM. So the one you saw at Kitengela is not ODM because there was no tear gas.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. And let me take this opportunity to say hi to Paul. Paul, how are you doing? Paul is saying, Ayala is working for state. All right, thank you so much. You've spoken about uh, the energy, especially at the coast. Let me first of all give Simamo to say, because he's somebody from the coast, or he would tell us whatever happened in coastal area, especially when you look at the ODM, because for the history, one thing that people do not, I don't know whether people know, like ODM has always had a very strong base, especially in coastal area, in Western and part of Turkana, by the way. But if what we saw yesterday at Tononoka, especially youths, especially heckling the party leader until Sharif Nasir had to come and, with a sign telling them to keep quiet. What does that one mean, especially for Oburu and Gladys Wanga, Junet Mohammed, with that? And also there was those young people who were chanting Sifuna's name, Sifuna, prior. Mr. Msimamo, wewe maoni yako gani?
Kiasi tu ninanunua kitu hapa dukani kama, lakini naweza pia nikaendelea. Maoni yangu ni hivi, pasa dogo. Maoni yangu ni hivi, ni kwamba nafikiri tulizungumzia kwa kina zaidi ni jambo right, kwamba kuna utofauti mkubwa. Tononoka ukikombana na Kitengela ni vitu viwili tofauti zaidi. Umeelewa? So hii ilikuwa na full support about from party leaders, party hao wote ambao wanahusika na, lakini haijakuwa na mashiko na mhemko. Yana tujaona haswa lile tamanio na uchu wa mwananchi mahali upo. But ukikombani hii sasa imekuwa Kitengela, unakuta ile yani ni mori haswa wa watu, haswa wananchi, haswa kutokana na hali ambao wanapitia. So inafika mahali mwananchi anaamua. So to me naweza nikasema kwamba kuna ukicombine ODM wacha Tononoka, hata ile ilikuwa Lamu na the whole coast, lakini hakuja kuwa ule muhimu kwa, it's like hawa wananchi ni kama wametengenezwa kufika pale kwa special purpose, kwamba waje tu waonekane kwamba wamejaza uwanja na nini, umeona, na pia wamefagilia kimtazamo wangu. Right, but ukicombine na hii ya kina Sifuna ni tofauti. Hapa wametoka wenyewe, kuna uniforms, kuna makofia, kuna nini, lakini umati umetoka kuonyesha haswa ile ghadhabu ambayo ana uzuri, hata si kwamba labda ni kabla nyingi yenye ilijitokeza jana tofauti. Nimesikia wengine wakisema hawa ni wafuasi wa Gachagua ndio walikuja huku, yani ile kwamba jamaa wanajaribu kujitetea kwa upande wa pili, lakini kiukweli ni ile tunu na hamu ya mwananchi kuona kwamba kiongozi wao anayesimama kwa ajili yao anatendewa yasiyofaa upande mwingine. So hiyo ndio tofauti kubwa ambayo niliweza nikaisoma. Pili, yale alizungumzwa pale jana, it's like kama Gladys pia naye anaanza kujutia kimpango wake, kwa sababu siku zote alikuwa anaimba 2 term. Sisi hatutoki hapa. But jana kwa kauli yake mwenyewe alizungumza kwamba kama chama hatukuwa tumeamua whether tuko 2 term ama tuko 1 term. Tuliwa katikati pale. Kitu tulikuwa tunapush ni kwa hii report iweze kufanya nini, kutimilika. Na ngawaje baba alituacha hapo kwa broad based government. Kwa hivyo tulikuwa tuona pendekezo kwamba tutazungumza na like minded parties tuweze kujumuika nazo, tukianza na UDA. Lakini sasa ukiangalia katika hayo mazungumzo na pia katika masuala mazima na NADEC report na ile report ambayo walikuwa wanaizungumzia, ukiangalia siku zimebaki ni kidogo mno. Kiasi kwamba I don't believe as to whether wataweza kufulfill, kwa sababu now it's less than 20 days. Mkataba ambao waliweza kuwekeana so baina ya mwenda zake na rais na kiongozi wa nchi. So kwa kweli hapo unakuta kuna unafiki ambao upo, ni kujaribu kuuza rangi na kuuza kuona chama wako nayo, lakini kweli wako na chama lakini hawana watu. Hiyo tu ndio nitakamaliza kwamba wako na chama fine, but hawana watu. Mwisho kabisa kuna hii kwamba tumezungumzia hapa kwamba baba alifanya hii mambo sana tu akawa na watu lakini hajaweza kushinda. Kwa hiyo hili haliwashtushi. Ukiyoyote unamsikia anazungumza hili, anajua fika, apart from kwamba mwananchi atatoka saa 11 saa 10 usiku kwenda kupanga laini afanye haki yake ya demokrasia kumchagua anayemtaka, basi kuna wengine ambao already washaka kwa meza, wamejua ni nini ambacho ni nini matokeo ambayo yatakuwepo. Kwa hiyo it's like a norm. Kwa hivyo ukitaka kufaulu, leave alone about the crowd, enda kwa wale ambao wanapanga, ndivyo utapata nafasi ya kwenye uongozi. Nadhani hawa ambao wanaona tutakuwa kwa serikali, tumechoka opposition na nini na hatujazaliwa kwa opposition, na this is the opportunity wenye wanaona kwamba kwa kusukuma na mkono pia watakuwa wako ndani, so watahesabika, wataweza kupata power, of which it's a lie. Katiba lazima ifuate kikamilifu na haki ya mpiga kura iheshimike pale debeni. So wangekuwa wa kwanza mstari wa mbele kuhakikisha kwamba this time around, kama baba alikuwa na ile imani kwamba anajaribu kupoza nchi, yani kurudi haswa kuungana na huyu kwa sababu ya kuweza kuleta uwiano na pia kutojionyesha iko na uchu wa madaraka. So jambo lile si kwamba ulikuwa ni mapungufu yake kwamba haezi demand kile ambacho kilikuwa cha kwake, but sometimes anatuana na maumizi magumu kutokana na wafuasi wake ndio wanaisha. For instance, tumeshuhudia haswa haya ambayo yametokea jana Kitengela. With no reason, people are doing their own democratic right, lakini bado still tiaga zilikuwa pale, watu wameumia vya kutosha. So hali kama ile baba alikuwa akiona pengine ndio imechemka zaidi, watu wafuasi wake ndio wanaumia, hana budi la kusaliti amri, na ukisaliti amri, kumbuka wewe ndio mshindwa. So tubidi ukubali sasa kuungana na huyu, kwa sababu si ya madaraka, bali kwa wale wengi ambao watapoteza maisha with no reason. Unaona? So this time around wasifikia wananchi sasa wako pale tena, kwa sababu kama hii michezo imefanyika wakati huo, I don't know whether kwamba wananchi sasa watavumilia kwamba vitimbi vifanywe na wapewe wasio ambaye hawajamchagua, alafu watu wategemee kwamba itakuwa norm. I don't know, haitakuwa norm, kwa sababu jazba na mwananchi jinsi na hasira mwananchi aliyokuwa nayo 2022 na sasa hivi 2026 ni tofauti, kutokana haswa na uongozi na desturi na tabia za kiongozi na ama uongozi uliopo. Mwananchi hajawahi kufinyiliwa kiasi hiki, hajawahi kushuhudia haswa haya yasiyofaa, yani usalama na polisi kutumika visivyo, kwa sababu it's like tunaregeshwa back to pale kwa Moi era, wakati polisi walikuwa wamepewa order haswa from the above, na tumeletwa pale pale. So to me naweza nikasema katiba imepewa mgongo, kwa sababu haikuungwa mkono tangu hapo awali, na watu sasa wanatumia katiba yao, wala wanaona kwamba itaweza kuwa favor, kuongeza time limit na kadhalika. Kwa hivyo huu mchemko wa safari hii tusiubezi tu kwamba mwananchi amechemka padogo. Sasa hivi amechemka haswa, na tutashuhudia kivumbi zaidi. Asante.
Okay, asante sana kwa maoni yako, msimamo. Wacha nichukue nafasi hii kusalimia ndugu yetu Gitonga. Gitonga, amepotea siku mingi. Gitonga, umekwepo wapi? Hebu tuambie, maisha iko vipi? Sijakuona kwa muda mrefu, natumai kwamba uko vizuri. Vile vile naona Brenda Obedi pia ako na sisi hapa. Kwa kweli kuna vitu vingi ambapo tukitaka kuangalia kilitokea sana sana, tukiangalia Mombasa, na tuangalie pia acha nitengeneze hii, tuangalie pia Kitengela. Kuna vitu vingi ambazo tunapata kisiasa. Miguda, wacha nikuulize hapa swali la kisheria. Kwa kweli tunajua kwamba tunajua kwamba Sifuna alienda kotini, ambapo kotini kwa sasa baada yeye ni katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM. Na jana ukisikia hata Oburu mwenyewe na hata wa ODM wanaongea, wanasema kwamba yeye si katibu mkuu wa ODM, yeye ni katibu mkuu wa koti. Na hawa ndio watu ambao walikuwa wanaongea, ni watu ambao ni walinda sheria ama watu ambao wanatunga sheria. Kama hao ndio wanaweza sema hivyo, ambao hawaheshimu sheria ambayo labda imetolewa na koti, kwa sababu hiyo ni amri imetolewa na koti na ni sheria ambayo inafaa iheshimike, na bado wanaenda kinyume na hiyo, inakwambiaje kuhusu viongozi wetu kwamba tunaweza heshimu sheria ama sheria ipo tu, ni kitu ambacho hatufuati sana? Hello Miguda. Okay, sawa. Okay, asante sana. Kinakaa Miguda ako na shida kidogo. Kwa sababu unapata kwamba ikifika mahali ya kuheshimu sheria, koti walitoa amri kwamba Sifuna alikuwa ametolewa kinyume na sheria na koti kamrejesha kuwa katibu mkuu wa chama, lakini pale ukienda katika mkutano wa ODM pale Tononoka, ile ingine walikuwa wanasema kwamba Amanyo still the Secretary General. Sasa swali ni je, kama hao ndio watunga sheria, wale ambao wanafaa watunge sheria na hao ndio bado wanakeuka sheria, hiyo itakuwaje? Tunasema kwamba sisi ni waaminifu katika katiba. Wewe mzalendo unaweza sema nini?
Jamangu, nitangulia kuzungumza kwamba hii katiba ilipewa mgongo muda mrefu, imejaribiwa kwa vitu vingi ambavyo kimtazamo wangu vinanipa mashaka kwamba vile hapo hawa viongozi wanaapa navyo kwamba watailinda na kuitunza katiba na kuiheshimu katiba. Huwa ni viapo tu ili kuweza kuingia katika uongozi, kisha viapo vile vinakuwa havina tija kwao. Ni baadhi ya maswali wanajiuliza mimi, kwa sababu it's like sasa hivi mahakama si lolote. Kuna mwenye ambaye anaweza kuamua dhidi ya hiyo mahakama, ambayo ninavyoamini mimi haswa kama msimamo ni kwamba hakuna mtu ambaye yuko juu ya sheria. Hakuna. So it's like kama mahakama imeamua, na si mara ya kwanza kesi hizi za mahakama imeamua hivi, then wengine wanaamua hivi. Au kama watakubaliana hayo maamuzi lakini shingo upande. Kwa hivyo ikiwa taifa litakuwa haliheshimu mipaka yake, kuna wa viongozi hawaheshimu mipaka haswa ya sheria iliyopo na katiba iliyopo, kwa kweli hili ni jambo la impeachment kimtazamo wangu, kwa sababu hatutaongozwa na kitu ambacho hakipo kikatiba. Ni sharti ya kila kiongozi na mwananchi kuweza kuiheshimu katiba hilo, kwa sababu wenyewe kwanza ni mpya, iko na miaka 16 tu, na mengi ambayo yako pale hajatimizwa. Yale ambayo ni ya mlengo wa kumpa mwananchi sasa mbavu na kumwezesha na kuenjoy kujiona yuko kwa taifa lake hayapo. Umeshinda hiyo mara hayapo. So mahakama imesema vile, lakini sasa kuna yule ambaye anaelewa, anajihisi kwamba yeye ndio mahakama, yeye ndio parliament, yeye ndio kila, na haya mambo alianza at early stage. Very early stage alipoingia tu alicapture hizo vitu, alicapture parliament, akacapture judiciary, akacapture akacapture mambo na polisi. Tuliona mikutano ile ya chiefs, commissioner ikifanywa mfululizo haswa state house. So tunaelewa fika kwamba bwana ana mtazamo wake, na kwa sababu siwezi mlaumu kutokana ni mwanafunzi wa Moi. Wewe mpingine the way Moi alikuwa ana lead, anataka tupeleke pale, labda kwake ndio sahihi zaidi kwamba anaweza rule wakati wote, kwa sababu juzi tulimsikia anasema miaka 15 at least ndio aweze kukamilisha hiyo. Sasa kama ni miaka 15 na umebakisha kipindi kimoja ambacho unabembeleza wa Kenya waone ile kazi yako yenye wafanya aidha wakuregesha tena, wewe leo unawaambia una miaka 15 utimize. How sure are you kwamba katika miaka 15 utakuwepo kama hakuna njia zingine ambazo sizo? Kwa hivyo hapa sheria na katiba imepewa kisogo. Kwa lazima tuzungumze kweli, kakaangu Benson, ni mtazamo wangu.
Okay, asante sana.
Tuna kiongozi ambaye hatii haswa wala haijali hiyo katiba yenu, ni yenu nyinyi haswa muhifadhi, lakini yeye ana katiba yake, anaweza amua chochote kwa sababu he is the king, he is the power, he has everything. Kwa hivyo anaweza fanya chochote kitu, na sidhani kama tutakwenda hiyo route. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Migudu, umerudi?
Nimerudi.
Okay, asante sana. Mi nadhani ulikuwa umefuatilia sana mkutano wa Oburu Odinga na kule Tononoka. Mi nataka kukuuliza kama vijana ambao waliletwa,
Hamjambo.
Okay, kama vijana ambao waliletwa ili wakuje washerekee ama ili wakuje wapatiwe ujumbe ya ODM kutokea hapa, hizi ndio ujumbe ambao sisi tuko nayo. Ukasikia venye viongozi waliongea sana sana hao viongozi kutokana na Mbishi Mboko, ikakuja Gladys Wanga, ikakuja Junet Mohamed, mpaka ikafika ambao mavijana ambao labda kusema kweli walipatiwa pesa wakuja wakuwe katika mkutano, wakaanza kumpigia Oburu kelele. Hii inakwambia nini sana sana kisiasa?
Kisiasa hiyo ni ishara ya kwamba ODM ile ya Oburu imeisha, na Oburu si kiongozi halali. Ana zile sifa za uongozi. Kiongozi ni yule mtu ambaye afai kupigwa kelele hivyo, na yule mtu ambaye anapeana mwelekeo kwa wale wafuasi wake. Sasa mtu kama Oburu unapata ya kwamba yeye amefail kukuwa kiongozi. Jambo la muhimu ni ya kwamba unapata hao vijana ambao walikuwa wanapatiwa hela na vile vile hao vijana ambao walikuwa wanampigia kelele, wengi wao walibebwa kutoka Nairobi mpaka Mombasa. Una kina Swale Sonko walikuwa wanaenda pale live TikTok. Wale ni wale watu marafiki zetu wa ghetto wa Nairobi na vijana wake. Inamaanisha kwamba walikuwa na mkutano Tononoka. Kwa nini wanatoa tena vijana Nairobi wanapeleka Mombasa? Ya nini sasa? Sio mkutano ilikuwa ya watu wa Mombasa. Hiyo ni ishara ya kwamba hata watu wa Mombasa hawakuhudhuria hiyo mkutano. Ni wale vijana ambao walienda pale juu ya pesa. Sasa unapata pengine wengine walipata 1,000, pengine unapata 500, naleta vurugu. Mimi nasema tu ile timu ya Oburu pale hakuna watu. Hakuna watu pale. Ile timu ni kama haina ile umaarufu. Haina ile umaarufu kama ile timu ambayo Raila alikuwa anaongoza. Hiyo ya kwamba Oburu ana zile sifa za kiongozi na vile vile haizi toa mwelekeo na si ile mtu ako na msimamo. Unajua kiongozi lazima kuwe na msimamo.
Na labda unajua pia kuna hii kauli ambao watu wanasema
kwamba au fanya jambo fulani au fanya hiyo jambo.
Unanipata? Umemaliza? Ebu labda tu kiufupi tu labda mawazo yako. Kuna wale, there are those who are saying that those crowds that were there, they were crowds for Rigathi Gachagua, and we know very well that those the same crowds that they are calling are the crowds that voted for William Ruto. Why then is it okay for them to question the crowd that were in Kitengela, but then to question especially the crowds that voted for William Ruto who are coming from the central Kenya?
So whenever we gather, all of the people gather, they are for Gachagua. But when it comes to ballot, they are for William Ruto. So how do you divide one people to belong to two different people? If they are for Gachagua in the grassroots, then they will be for Gachagua during elections, because they are saying they have Mount Kenya. But if they have Mount Kenya, so it means the crowds which were present at Kitengela are for both William Ruto and Gachagua. So we are not wrong to say those crowds belong to Ruto, because they are saying those Mount Kenya people belong to Ruto. So it's only convenient for Ruto to have them when it favors Ruto. But when it favors other person, they are not for Gachagua. It's just being used for political purposes. I think that's not policy. See our politics, the way we are seeing too low in our politics.
Yeah, this is what Gaiku MOU says, that I'm a bit concerned with at Oburu's health. He looks feeble, sickly in public, if not extremely weak. What is going on? It's too stressful, because remember, campaigns requires energy, but for a fact we know that Oburu, I don't think, have that energy to do, let's say, like even do 10 rallies or maybe 2 rallies in a day. He doesn't. Then another thing also that happens is that I think there is no proper organization in Oburu's camp, and this one we saw it on how they've been doing their events, especially from the time they went and all the party meetings that they've had. Remember when even they were reading resolution of the NEC, the print that was supposed to be read all the pressure that was supposed to be given to the public was left behind, and they had to wait for a few minutes. It's just that that is a lack of preparation. And another thing is I think they're not settled. When you say that you're in the monkey stage, monkey stage is a stage whereby you are not stagnant. You keep on jumping from tree to tree, trying to get whatever you can get for you to keep you moving. I think the best thing that they can do is just sit down, organize themselves, re-energize themselves, find people who are firebrand, especially if somebody like Ladamo Lekina is still with him, then bring Ladamo Lekina on the trail. They get firebrand, the people who can fire and have energy that can connect with the crowd. Because like from the look of things, they're not connecting with the crowd. Even the way Oburu was speaking, it tells you there was disconnect between him and the crowd. Even how Junet, Mohammed, Omondi, almost 1 hour, instead of almost 1 hour addressing the crowd, he was addressing Oburu, telling this is what you should call order, But how do you going to address the crowd? So there's something that is missing in Oburu's camp. Now, let's come to Kitengela. And one of the things that stood out in Kitengela, the crowd and the reception of Edwin Sifuna was as its best. And the majority of people who came are the young people. Yeah, that's the majority of people who came to Kitengela are very young people. If you look at their ages, they're the same people who went on the streets, majority of them. And I saw some of the TikTok influencers, majority of them were there. I saw some of them, and they were the young people. So my question to you, maybe to start with you, Miguda, because you're there. Do you think the presence of Sifuna is awakening this voting bloc giant of Gen Z and is going with it? Hello, Miguda.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. What the question?
When you saw the people who really attended the Sifuna rally, they were young people, especially the Gen Z. Do you think Sifuna is coming to re-energize this voting bloc of Gen Z or this population? And for how long is he going to sustain that?
I think that Sifuna actually is part of the movement which Gen Z initiated 2024. There have been some attempt by the state to ensure that it eradicate the movement, but as time goes by, there have been some attempt also by the people to press on. And when you find new synergy in the team as we progress, it makes it more energetic to make it move. Remember, we came from far. People, there are times whereby sometimes it stops for a year, then it comes back. So like last year on June, it was a bit massive. Then towards December, people said, okay, now William Ruto has now gained ground. But all of a sudden, yesterday, people say, okay, now it's like the ground is moving against him. So I can just say what Sifuna is bringing, what we call leadership structure. During the movement, there was this lack of leadership, whereby they were saying you cannot be leaderless and you cannot progress without leadership. So if Sifuna is coming to be among them, and being in the legislature, is bring that leadership structure to the movement. That like when you were at Kitengela, they came out and they were with some leaders, and also in Bungoma or Kakamega, they will be there with some leaders. So it's bringing more of a picture of leadership in the movement. But what I want to say is that as things stand right now, you cannot underrate that movement. Like we have said, a certain uncle of mine called me yesterday night and he asked me, is it an AI generated clip or it is true. I respond to him that me, I followed it live because KTN was actually broadcasting live. KTN gave them airtime for the first time Babu spoke and other leaders. We were following from KTN, and many people subscribe. Even if you look at the subscription for the KTN between that time and the time the meeting was over, they have increased their subscription. So I respond to that. It is not an AI. This is a real crowd. So it's disturbing people that could it be that now the young people are revolting again, and we knew that they have been silenced by Nyota Fund, they have been silenced by economic development, they have been silenced by silly appointments. I think it's now coming clear that people are just quiet for the sake of peaceful country, but in the real sense, people are sick and tired of the regime. I believe that as a Kenyan people, going forward, people should just ensure that the reason why I'm saying so is because even you saw what happened. You know, if you are a weakling, no one can tear gas you. The only tear gas are stronger people because we're a threat to the status quo. Even today, you saw what happened to the Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo at the CBD. They tear gas them, and when they went to Vigilante House, they found IG Kanja fled away from the Vigilante House, and they found only the spokesperson. So it's very clear that they have gone back to the drawing board. And anytime you seeing these people going back to the drawing board, they are being disturbed. So today I saw Mr. President hosting Kakamega MPs. I remember the next stop will be Kakamega on Saturday, and they have been called today on Monday to discuss on how they are going to manage that crowd if they're coming at Kakamega, because you cannot ignore it.
Was there?
Yeah?
Was Peter Salasia there? Because he's one person who has been criticizing the Sifuna of lately.
No, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. But what I want to say is that they're looking on how they can dilute the narrative that was Nairobi. At rural, people don't follow them. And I think it's going to be very tough because they have been given instructions from the State House. If you can see them being assembled at State House, that alone is an indication that they are panic, and it's not something that you can, in the National Security Council, you cannot ignore such meetings. At the NIS, you cannot ignore such meetings because they can lead to revolutions. That's why they have to be controlled and maintained at some point.
Okay, and talking about Kakamega, we know that there are quite a number of legislators, around 15 of them, if I'm not wrong, who are backing Sifuna. I don't know whether they were also in the State House. We have the wing of Tindi Mwale. Also, I know there are quite a number of them who are backing Sifuna, quite a good number. I don't know whether all of them were in State House too. Hello, Miguda.
Okay, the people who are backing Sifuna, the people like Tindi Mwale, they were missing in action in State House, because you cannot be seen with the people, you cannot be seen to be pro-Sifuna, the other time you are being seen eating with the opponent or enemy in that case. That one, people will not trust you, people will not believe in you, you can be marked as a mole. But the people whom you saw at Kitengela, none of them was present in the State House. So I think that a good number of them are coming from the Kisii region. Actually, the Sifuna wave has swept the Kisii region, particularly Kisii County. You saw a good number of legislatures from Kisii County, to be precise, are backing Sifuna. And also the wave has swept Omondi Karoli. So it's very interesting time ahead. And what I can confirm to you is that, let's discuss this issue of crowd. They are saying these crowds belong to Gachagua. They are saying these are Kikuyus. But the question we are asking them, if they are Kikuyus, they belong to Gachagua. So they are only Kikuyus and belong to Gachagua when Sifuna meets them. But when they meet William Ruto, Kikuyus are with William Ruto. So which is which? So they are only for Ruto if they are not in the Ruto in the Ruto rally, but when they are with Sifuna, they are for Gachagua. So I think now Kikus are for two people. They're either for Sifuna and either for Ruto and Gachagua. So there are two people divided into two. So we have, like in presidential election, we have 12. We instead of one ballot paper, we are going to have two ballot paper for the Mount Kenya people, because there was Mount Kenya for Gachagua and Mount Kenya for Ruto. So we are going to have, like, instead of 6 ballots, we are going to have 7 ballots for the president for Ruto and the president for Gachagua. There's no way you can divide one person to belong to two people. And they are saying, lastly, they were telling us that Kitengela is a busy residence, Kitengela is a busy place, you can bump into any time, then you get a crowd. Then we advise them, let Gideon Moi go there on weekend. Gideon Moi should pronounce that he want to go to Kitengela, if he can pull that crowd. Even let Ruto go to Kitengela. Let Wanga go to Kitengela. Let Oburu go to Kitengela. If they can, they are saying that crowd is normal in Kitengela. Let them go. We will differentiate. When they will go there, they're the people who are going to generate for us AI. They're the people, they want to generate AI. That's why they have started these rumors of AI.
Yeah.
That was not AI. That was an organic crowd. And if that's the case, they're also telling us that the crowd was mobilized. So the question we are asking them, how many opinions do you have? Were they mobilized, or do they belong to Gachagua? So there are people who don't have any good and informed decision. And lastly, I saw some people on X Space with brands calling themselves Mimi ni Ruto. So the people who are not even authentic, they are not self-made, they are not natural, they are copy-pasting narratives. Mimi Ndiyo Sifuna belongs to Sifuna. Babu kwa sababu belong to Babu. You should have your own creativity so that you can have your own path into politics. You should control your narrative to the very end. Not that you are copy-pasting my narrative. Now you cannot. So if you say Mimi Ndiyo Ruto, you think you get that crowd. I want to tell you that Kakamega will be fire, and we will be there.
Okay, you know, what surprised me, if you look at the two camps, yesterday you'd see, you'd notice, especially the camp from Oburu was talking about the other camp, and Babu, Sifuna, and the rest tried to shy away. They did not speak about the grounds in Tononoka, and for Gladys Wanga alikuwa anasema kwamba utatuambia mkutano ni ya ODM ama ni ya watu wako pale ni DCP, watu wako pale ni Jubilee, watu wako pale ni Wiper. So Gladys Wanga, on her speech, especially yesterday, he was saying that those who were there were the members of DCP, Wiper, and Jubilee. They are not members of ODM. But if you look at all those were young people from all walks of background. And I don't think even them, when they're having that rally, they dubbed it as ODM rally. It was like Linda Mwananchi. What is your take on that?
Bro Benson, sometimes we don't need to be petty, because let me ask you. Yesterday, Gachagua was having a certain rally along Thika Road.
Yeah.
I saw the DCP members with DCP caps and t-shirts. Why were DCP supporters at Kitengela not on DCP t-shirts and caps? DCP supporters were at Gachagua's rally and we saw them. They were there. And why do you say that they were also in Kitengela? So it means that DCP is a movement. Then, if that's the case, it means Gachagua has taken over. So Gachagua has taken over the city. If you can have two strong rallies, he was having a Thika, then the other rally was at Kitengela. So Gachagua is supposed to be reckoned, if that's the case. So these cheap politics which are possessed with bloggers, bloggers, most on experts, they are trying to compare things which are incomparable. They are trying to imagine things which are out of context. Like I've told you, they have said you can get people every day at Kitengela. Let them send Gideon Moi, because he's the chairman for KANU, if he can pull that crowd. Let them send Oburu Odinga. Let them send Wanga. Even let them send Mbadi. We can see. Even let them send Junet, because if anybody can pull that crowd. That crowd is very much organic. The youths are sick and tired of this regime. The youths are ready to transform the country, and let them not preach for us the gospel of that we don't have IDs. We have IDs. We have IDs. Hello, can you hear me? We have IDs. We have voters card, because were it not for ID, I could not be having Safaricom line. We are registering our lives with our IDs. We are registering bank accounts with IDs. When we are being admitted to school, you must have ID before you get your admission. So you cannot preach for us that the young people don't have IDs. The young people have IDs because they are registered. They are.
Okay, I've lost you. Marco, Migoda. Did I lose Migoda? Okay, okay. Let me Msimamo, asante sana kwa kukuja. Msimamo, let me just ask you, because like we've seen especially the young people, if they decide to love you, especially like now what Sifuna is having this big following, not because he's a member of ODM or not because he has done something special, but because you are speaking some of the things that is affecting them on the ground, you know. How should Sifuna maintain this so that he doesn't betray this cause that has started? How should he maintain this?
La kwanza asipeleke vile alipeleka jana, maana naiga viatu vya mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Naona maoni yangu waipeleke digital sasa, kutokana ni wafuasi wengi ni vijana. So waipeleke in digital way.
Yeah.
Ajue jinsi gani ambavyo ataweza kutackle matukio kama yale ya jana. Yani yasiwe kwamba yanampa tena sifa kwamba tuliona haya alofanyika kwa Raila ndio yanafanyika tu sasa hivi, hakuna tofauti. Uwe na mfumo tofauti, hasa uonyeshe kwamba hii nguvu inayokuja sasa ni over ile ya Raila, ni kasi kubwa, ni nguvu kubwa yenye ipo. Kwa hivyo si kitu cha kubezi, kwamba waelewe kufika wakiwa katika maeneo yale wamejipanga, vijana wamejipanga katika hali ambayo kwamba wataweza kukabiliana sometime na vitu kama vile. Mimi sikufichi, wakijipanga vizuri na wakipeleka in digital way, basi yake itakuwa moto atakulikoni ya baba, kwa sababu wengi ni vijana na vijana wanaosema wao hapa. Watu wengi huja na argument kwamba wao vijana hawana kura kwa maraba. Unaona, kuna wale kwamba vijana hawapigi kura. Hili swala linazungumza sana kwamba vijana hawana vitambulisho, achukui vitambulisho nini na kura. Vijana wametalamika, wanaelewa kuchagua magugu na mbegu, na itakuwa haina maana mfano wajitose kwenda kwa kura wakati wanajua fika kura sio itakaoamua matokeo. Hili jambo lilizungumza mbele, kulikuwa kuna turnout ya vijana haikuwa imeonekana pale. Kama tulifuatilia swala chaguzi ya mbele, hakukuwa sana na asilimia kubwa ya vijana, na tukawa tuna argue hapa wao vijana wachukue, sio hivyo. Sasa hivi wanajua kwamba haina haja niende mahali ambapo nitakwenda nitapoteza muda wangu na tayari matokeo yanajulikana. But tukiwa na mechanism nzuri kwamba kutakuwa na fair game, ubana abanwe kila kona, kwa sababu nimesikia kuna tetesi, kuna bwana mmoja jana alifundia mahali siri kwamba mbele wale voters walikuwa wanapigwa 15,000, jana anapigwa 15, akitoka anapigwa 5, alafu anapiga picha na posti hiyo. So tukijaribu na tukawa tunafikiria kwamba tukawa tuna argument, tunasema labda hila lilifanyika mbele tu sehemu ndogo, haiwezi fanyika hivi. But wataalamu wangu wakapiga mpaka na hesabu kwamba ni jambo linawezekana. Hiyo gharama ni 45 billion, na hiyo 45 billion kwake si tatizo hilo. Kwa hivyo anaweza fanya hivyo na akawanunua hata wapiga kura. So wewe una watu na wamenunuliwa kutokana hii hali ya njaa ambayo ipo, alafu niambie wewe umeenda kwa chaguzi umetoka pale na 15,000. Si mtu anaingia wazimu anaweza badilika hapo hapo. So alikuwa mfuasi wako, lakini kutokana na hili tonge la mkononi, mwisho wa siku kapata huyu jamaa ameingia. Ndio plan ndio ipo ya kuweza kumalizana na wapiga kura pale debeni, haswa mnapopategemea kwamba kura zitakuwa mwisho ni polling station. Basi hapo polling station ndio kutakuwa hiyo sumu. So for instance, kwa masuala kama hayo kwamba vijana wanaelewa fika, hakuna fair game. Sasa turnout ya vijana itabidi iwe ndogo, kwa sababu wanaelewa tayari wanapoteza muda wao, na sasa hivi hauwezi waficha kitu, kwa sababu huu mtandawazi uliwafunua mambo mengi. Lakini cha hivyo pia si karne ya juzi, enzi za kina mzee wetu Kenyatta, mwanzilishi wa taifa, ama enzi za kina hayati mzee Moi, mzee Nyayo ule, unaona, si wakati huo, kwa sababu sasa hivi vijana wengi wamesoma. Huwezi mwambia kitu, ni kwamba kazi hakuna, lakini kama ni masuala na kusoma, vijana wengi wamesoma, mashallah. So huwezi wadanganya tu hivyo wakati unaambia twende kwa fair game na hakuna fair game. So nafikiri hiyo ndio kitu ambacho kinachangia zaidi, lakini kama kutakuwa kuna fair game, kuna mechanism imewekwa vizuri kwamba kutakuwa kuna fair game, election itafanyika fair, na kusikufichi, utashangaa this time around. Lingine ambalo pia litaacha this time around pia vijana watoke sana ni kubanwa mbavu mno, nadhani, na pia kutaka kulipiza kisasi cha yale ambayo yaliweza kufanyika katika maandamano yao ya kama tunakumbuka yale ya kupingana swada ule uliokuwa na utata haswa. So nadhani pia watajitokeza kutaka kulipiza sasa makali yao. Kwa hivyo hapo pananipa matumaini kwamba this time around vijana watajitokeza, na tukiangalia kweli jana wale waliojitokeza pale wengi ni vijana, kumaanisha kwamba this time around hakutaweza kuachwa mtu nyuma. Watu watajitokeza kuanza kupangwana na hili. Kwa hivyo ni kujipanga tu, wao wenye sauti moja ambao wanasema wananchi warudi pamoja, wajipange, alafu then watoke haswa, then sisi wananchi tutajua ni nani ambaye atatufaa. Tukisema ni Matiang'i, wao waweze kumsupport, then tutamshangaza bwana haswa pale debeni. Kama tutakuwa na fair game, tutaweza kuchunga kura kikamilifu na kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba hakuna milungule itakayotembea pale, hakuna hela zitakazotembea pale, na kila kitu tutakiepose immediately after tukio moja limefanyika. So tukiwa na hayo macho wakati huo kwamba hatulifumbii hili, basi bwana atakuwa hana mali kwa kujificha. Maana sahari sidhani kama kuna usingizi mzuri itaingia jana, wala kuna mahusiano mazuri kutoka na hii ODM yake ya based government, jinsi ilivyofanya mkutonoka na jinsi ambavyo Sifuna aliweza kuchukua huu mati. Hapa kutakuwa kuna maswali kwa hao ambao ni viongozi ambao walikuwa nang'ang'ana kwa broad based government kwamba lazima tufuate UDA. So watakuwa na maswali, how did this happen? Hiyo ndio itakuwa swali, how did this happen, wakizingatia wao walichukua hata vijana kutoka Nairobi kujaza umati. Pili, pia katika mvutano ambao sasa hivi unaingia wa pili sasa, huu wa ODM sasa, ambayo iko kwa broad based government, wakingangania position ya vice president, yani deputy president. Tulisikia hasa viongozi wa pwani wakisema sisi lazima tupewe Joho, kwa sababu ndio ulikuwa mpango ambao baba ametuacha hapo kwamba Joho lazima awekwe mtu. Kwa hiyo lazima tupewe hiyo nafasi. Hapa kina Wanga wanaemezea mati nao, na wale ambao wanaona kwamba wao ndio wenye ODM, hawaongeni, lazima wafuate hao. So mwisho wa siku katika mvutano huu utampa mbavu bwana ambaye ameweza kuyasababisha haya, ili kuweza kufanya mambo yake na kujiimarisha zaidi, kwa sababu lengo lake ni kuimarisha chama chake, kahakikisha kwamba kimezagaa kila mahali, kimefanya kila lilivyo, lakini kimeweza kuchukua viti vingi zaidi haswa ifikapo 2027. Kwa hivyo hilo ni lazima kama United Opposition wajipange nalo, wahakikishe kwamba wao ndio watachukua viti vingi hata kuliko UDA. But walikilifumbia macho haya tumeyazungumzia kidogo kidogo haya ya hela haya, basi tutaweza kushangaa kwamba viti vingi vimechukuliwa ni hivyo, alafu pia yeye mwenyewe pia ameregeshwa kikamilifu hapo katika uchaguzi, na mwisho wa siku tuache na watu wetu kama baba alivyokuwa tunaachwa na watu wetu. Tunapendwa kweli, lakini tutabaki na watu wetu kwa sababu mamlaka yashachukuliwa. Maana mamlaka wanaamini si watu, ni meza ama ni kupanga. Asante.
Okay, asante sana Miguda, nadhani uko vizuri sasa. Labda tu swali tu ya mwisho tu ndio tufunge. Makubura, bahati nzuri ndio Makubura amekuja, amefanya vizuri sana. Miguda, labda tu nikuulize, kwa sababu safari ya koti sana sana pale Sifuna ameelekea ni safari ndefu sana sana. Unapata kwamba uamuzi zingine huwa zinachukua muda na ni safari ndefu, na kwa saizi unapata kwamba Sifuna ni mtu ambaye sasa vijana ambao wanamwemuko na yeye wamempenda. Unadhani ni vyema aendelee kupigania kwa koti, na hata kupigania kwa koti mtu ambaye anapigana naye kwa saizi, kwa sababu saizi unajua kwamba anapigana na Rais William Ruto, kwa sababu kulingana na Ososi alisema kwamba wakina Oburu saa zingine wanaenda huko kwa Mheshimiwa William Ruto, na William Ruto ako na pesa na kila kitu. Unaona, unadhani ni vyema aendelee kupigana kwa koti ama awachane na hiyo mambo, akuwe na watu hapa wakuwe na watu ku continue to inject? Wewe unasemaje?
Mi nasema mambo na koti, tukiangalia precedents, we have had precedents whereby people have moved to court. Sometimes due to the due process, it can take time, timeline, and also there are some activities that must proceed. For instance, the party must always be active. Right now we are approaching elections. The SG is very vital in the party, that it needs to be active, engaging in minutes writing, engaging in negotiations. So right now they'll be using the Catherine from Busia Women Rep, and Sifuna now will not be taking activities of the ODM. But let me tell you, some people still have hope. To me, I can just say Sifuna was removed from the ODM. They're just trying to sugarcoat things, but the facts are he's not going to serve as the SG for ODM. So it's better for him right now to move with this crowd and move on. Let him not battle in court, because even if court reinstate him, like I've told you, the good example is the Ford Kenya. You know the issue of Ford Kenya. Even today, if you go to the courts in this country, we are going to find that case still active in the court. Up to date, the issue of Ford Kenya has not been resolved legally. So no matter how, it will be there in the court, but the team will move on and work with William Ruto. The same way the team is moving on, it's high time for Sifuna to move on and stop to be all those, because there are some people who believe that Sifuna will go back to be the SG of ODM. He is not going to go back to be the SG of ODM.
For instance, maybe before I leave Makobura, then leave, because I don't think that ODM will allow Sifuna to go to the Orange House. He's not going. I don't think ODM will allow Sifuna to transact any business on their behalf. ODM, Sifuna is SG on court paper, but in reality, he's not.
Yeah, he is not. He is not the SG for ODM. ODM will not allow him to do anything.
Makubura, you can pick it up. Then I'm coming.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And maybe before I pick up, Migud, I've just joined. I don't know what exactly you've talked about. Maybe you can just brief me and give me the questions. I give my views before I prepare with other questions.
You can just note them down, because I just want to go very fast. We have discussed the issue of Sifuna and the Kitengela crowd. Some people are purporting that crowd was an AI generated, that crowd was for Gashagwa, and so on and so forth. The Tononoka crowd, whereby the people were bribed, people were heckling at the party leader. Those are two concerns. The third one, the party leader of the ODM, they were concerning about the Kitengela rally, talking about Sifuna and the team, whereas the Sifuna and Babu ignored them and focused on their agenda. Is it that it is a wave to them? Then lastly, we have discussed the issue of West Kakamega, next Saturday Kakamega, how it's going to be, and the issue of SG, Sifuna being SG on court, how is he going to transact? Should he proceed with the crowd and form his political party, or should he just try to dilly in ODM? So you can proceed from there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity and also clarifying. Before I get into giving my views, allow me to just acknowledge the presence of, your presence, Simamo's presence, and Ben's presence at the at the studio, and also at the comment section. I can see like, thank you so much, like, good year, thank you so much. I can also see Brenda, Gitonga, Paul, and everyone who joined us today. Thank you so much for finding time to be with us this evening. If I start with my view or my comments, specifically on what happened in Mombasa or the heckling, I think all those are confirmation that the people who are the majority, the people who are the supporters, the people who have, just like I did mention yesterday, the people who went for the streets fighting for ODM, fighting for the leaders of ODM, the people who have always stood by the democracy that has been preached by ODM, the people who have worked with Raila Amolo Odinga, the people who would come out when Raila would call them out, are not happy by the fact that Dr. Oburu and his team are getting into a government without having solved the many problems that the party has always carried forth, the many problems that the party has always preached or reminded the government to work or to act on. That is why you're still seeing an environment full of, a lot of people are feeling that the move by ODM is not right. It is not right because there are quite a lot. Look at the 10 agenda point. Look at the Gen Z's issues. Look at, the many questions or the many problems that have always been raised by the people of Kenya. All these problems have not been solved by the government. And so part of those who fought or brought forth these particular cries were the supporters of ODM. So majority of them still feel that, well, as much as there is an opportunity of getting into the government, the only issue is, well, part of ODM, the likes of Mbadi, the likes of Joe, the likes of Oparanya, the likes of Opiyo Wandayi are currently in government. But what have they done to the people? Have they solved the problems that ODM has always stood for? Have they solved the many injustices that ODM supporters faced, or the entire people of Kenya have always faced? The answer is no, they have not solved. And so the people feel that as much as they're being told about broad-based and government, this government has done nothing. The people who are within ODM, who knew the problems and the challenges, have also gotten into government and they're doing nothing. That is why there's a lot of hostility to anybody who is trying to preach or to sing the song of ODM, and especially those who have already made the decision of joining the government. That is why you saw a lot of heckling. That is why you saw a lot of lukewarmness in the people. That is why you saw what I can call low turnout, and of course a group of people who never really cared about what was happening. So that would be my comment on the reason why quite a number of people were gloomy or echoed the current party leader, that is Dr. Oburu Oginga and his team. And again, if you look at the kind of the energy that was there, it is not receptive. It is not hii ligi ya kina Oburu. They are not matching the energy. They are not matching the wishes of the people. And that is why, personally, I can say they should just release the party to this other side, the people who are willing to proceed with it. Yeah, that would be my take on the heckling thing in Mombasa. Well, if I want to give my views again on what happened in Kitengela, I can say that what we saw was a massive reception. A group of people when I saw them coming out, it reminded me of Raila Amolo Odinga the late. It reminded me of the good reception. It reminded me of the energy. It reminded me of the political consistency and the political love that Raila experienced while he was still with the people. That was a replica that the spirit of Raila is still alive. And if we were supposed to be gauging in the sense that going by the side where I would say the spirit of Raila lies, then I can tell you that the spirit of the Raila lies in this other team that is comprising James Orengo, Edwin Sifuna, Babu, amongst others. That is where true spirit of Raila is. Yes, that would be my take on the Kitengela one, but also what we to anticipate or what to expect in Kakamega. We're going to see a huge or a still high turnout in Kakamega, a symbol or significance of the how do I put it? A young generation coming out to just to show their frustration, and also just to give a support to the people who fail. I mean, the people who have tried advancing their views and the views of the youths, and they're not given a chance. So, this is more of a youth affair, if I can call it so, because it is something pro the youth. It is the youths who are coming up with this particular planning. It is them who are, finding themselves coming in the forefront just as a way of uniting and also coming up with strategies of ensuring that these events gets to the success that is needed. So I can say that it is going to be a huge rally, the one that is going to happen in Kakamega, and we will see quite a number of youths coming out, of course, to show their love for this team that is currently speaking about the people, this team that is currently standing by the people, this team that is, engaging the people. It's going to be a massive good reception for the likes of Sifuna, Babu, Orengo, and the whole team of, of the ODM rebel. That would be my take on that. And then something else that had been asked is about the operations of Edwin Sifuna. And I can say that it's not going to be easy for him, because remember, we have a group of people in ODM or this side of Dr. Oburu who are very ruthless in the sense that there are people who really do not care, and especially when they've been bribed the way they've been bribed to move with a high speed the way they're moving, they're not going to allow Sifuna or anybody else to divert their attention. And that is why I partly agree that they're going to make it tough for Sifuna to operate and, of course, to execute his roles as per the constitution of ODM and, of course, the requirements of a Secretary General. Yes, we saw this. The courts did clarify that he's still the Secretary General. That, I would say, is still on paper and legally, but I don't think that he would be allowed to even access his office or the offices of ODM. Yes, I think that would be my view on that, unless there's anything else that you want to add, either Miguda or Msimamo. Msimamo?
Naungana na wewe kaka yangu, kwanza pokea zangu, lakini naungana na wewe kwamba Sifuna haina haja ya kubembeleza mahali, na nilizungumza juzi hili first, ile siku ambao aliweza kutimuliwa kwamba siku zote kumpiga chura teki ni si kumuua, ni kumwongezea safari tu. So huyu kashapigwa teki, kashaongezwa safari, safari iko sawa, atafutane na the like minded wenzake, warudi drawing board, wafikirie Kasongo watamtoaje hapa, kwa sababu kama ni watu yuko nao, asiwe na ile proud kwamba nakuta yeye sasa jamaa ashaanza kumlenga jenzi, yuko nao watu wanao, aanze kuwa na hapana, o atangaze chama chake ambacho ataweza kukinadi kama alivyofanya Gachagua kwa miezi michache. DSP ikawa na mashiko, maana kuuza chama ni bidii ya mtu, but ana haki pia kuungana na vyama vingine ambavyo ataona kwamba vina mawazo sawa na yake, ili kusudi waungane, wajaze hii nguvu ambayo iko nayo, na nguvu ya Gachagua na nguvu ya Kalonzo na nguvu ya Matiang'i. Hao watu wote wakija sehemu moja na nia ni kumuondoa huyu tu, ndio kauli. Mambo mengine baadaye, bwana huyu nadhani atasalti amri, lakini vile vile pia itasaidia ile siku pengine tutashuhudia kwamba kabla hata pengine huo uchaguzi yamefanywa yasiyofaa, yanayokinzana kila siku na katiba. Basi tukiamua kwamba tunamwimpeach, basi itakuwa ni nguvu ya kwamba ni moja ile, tukizuka tunazuka pamoja kwa ajili ya hilo. So nadhani hii nguvu kuimarika pamoja itakuwa jambo la mbolea zaidi kimtazamo wangu, kwamba Sifuna na wale wengine waungana na hao ambao wanasema ni one term. Let it be. Huku mahali kushatoka, wacha kusharibika, wacha kuharibike kwenyewe sasa hivi. Wacha wajionee sasa umuhimu wa Sifuna. Asianze kuwabembeleza ataonekana kwamba ni mdhaifu, ni mpungufu, kwa sababu kivyovyote vile hata iweje hataweza kuregeshwa hapo, na kivyovyote vile hata hivyo yuko na ODM hewa, wenzake ndio wako na ODM japo haina watu, lakini sasa ndio origin. So waache na broad based government yao, uone mipango ambayo wataifanya dhidi yake, but yeye ahame kabisa, achana na hiki chama kabisa mazima, ili kama ni kufa kife, kama ni kunyanyuka kinyanyuke, kama ni kubaki cha eneo moja kibaki cha eneo moja, alafu tuone kama kitakuwa na makali tena ya kuweza kunadiwa mbele ya halaiki kwamba ni chama kikubwa kutoka River Limpopo mpaka South Sahara. Tunataka kuona sasa kule kwendo wako, kwa sababu ilikuwa chama kikubwa under whose leadership. Now we want to see hii chama kubwa under leadership of Oburu, of which mzee wa watu anahangaishwa huku na huku. Natamani angekuwa baba yangu ambaye bwana pumzika hapa, kama ndikufa njaa hapa, tuache tufe njaa mzee hapa. Nitakwenda kulimia vibarua, nitakwenda kukoroga vibarua vya mkorogo, lakini utakula mzee, but uendi popote, kwa sababu sasa hivi namuonea imani anahangaishwa pasipokuwa na haja, kwa sababu ya wachache ambao wanakuta kwamba wao ni bora zaidi. So ODM Sifuna achana na ODM yao, aseme kwamba sina haja tena haswa kukaa memba, si lazima kukaa memba hapo. So atafutane na chama kile ambacho ataunga nacho mkono, ama atengeneze chama ambacho kitaweza kuwa anaweza kukiuza, lakini vile vile haswa lengo liwe moja tu, kwamba ikifikia swala la sasa nani haswa ataweza kupeperusha bendera ya kumuoa Kasongo aungane na wenzake. Kama kuna sitamwangukia yeye, wananchi wataamua. Kama sitamwangukia Matiang'i, wananchi ndio wataamua. Kama ni Uhuru ni Gachagua, wananchi ndio wataamua. But for the time being, achana na hiki chama mazima. That's my simple advice to Sifuna. Pili, hii crowd sasa moni ya Gen Z aipeleke on another level. Yani bwana Kasongo awe akimtazama Sifuna nakuta hii ni moto over baba. Sasa wawe na mbinu, wawe wanafika, wawe wana kila aina ya kuweza kukopana na mitego ya hawa jamaa, lakini mwisho wa siku hakikishe kwamba crowd bado ana maintain nayo na inazidi kuikuza zaidi, ili avivae kirasmi hivi haswa viatu vya baba. Ndivyo hii ODM ingine sasa ione kwa nini baba alikuwa anang'ang'ana sana kuwa na Sifuna. Asante.
Thank you so much. Miguda, I have a question for you on the issue of Sifuna. You know, since that debate, I mean the rally that was there in in Kitengela. People have spoken, and there are a lot of people, political analysts amongst others. Everybody has given their view. And majority of them are saying that it could be that the spirit of Raila, the political spirit of Raila, has landed on him, Sifuna Edwin, the senator of Nairobi. What is your take? Do you think he can take over the role that Raila played with time as he gets to learn the few tactics that are needed within for him to operate within that space? Meguda.
These are two different personalities. Raila was Raila. We will never have any. And there hasn't been anyone since the creation of the world. Sifuna is Edwin. There will be no any other Edwin. And all, just the Sisi Ndiyo Sifuna narrative. But the personality is himself. Let him just have his own path, create and proceed with the politics. He cannot use Raila's path to succeed. That was Raila. It was the architecture of his own path. So let Sifuna also be an architecture of his own path. They are two personalities. I don't want to equalize either, that Sifuna can take from Baba or the spirit of Baba landed into Sifuna. That, right now, there are some pressing issues. But even if it landed to Sifuna, Raila already was working with William Ruto before he demise. And there were people on the street. Sifuna's just hijacked the people on the street because, like I've told you, when you are not here, we had a movement by the Gen Z, which was leaderless. They were lacking that leader who can actually lead them to certain issues. But now they have been stranded on the street. All of a sudden, someone has just come that is also opposing the regime with the similar thoughts of the Gen Z. Someone has just come that is ready to quit his SG position for the sake of standing with the people, that he has not been compromised and is unapologetic. You know, at first, Gachagua was apologetic before he was impeached. He apologized. He tried to remain in the government. Then suddenly he found himself outside. He is now projecting to be an opposition. But Sifuna has been kicked out unapologetically. He has not apologized to anybody. He has not pleaded with anybody. He has gone out. So that sympathy card, people have embraced him into that movement. So it's part and parcel of the movement. Iki Raila is out of context here. These are different generation. They're different leaders. Sifuna is a bit, I think, 40 plus, but Raila was 80s. So they're quite different people. I think this is a new movement. We don't need to have a Raila all the time. There must be somebody called Sifuna. There must be somebody called Onyonka. There must be somebody called so on and so forth. We can't have one personality, then all of a sudden you say the spirit of somebody has landed on somebody. So we continue having one spirit at the time. So Jaramogi landed in Raila. So even you can have your own path. Marco Bura, you have just decided to do your things and you proceed. You don't need to have that spirit for you to proceed, because people are born equal and free. At the same time, people are unique in their own way. That's the architecture of God. So I believe that let him just proceed with his work and all will be well. All will be well.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe your take on the current dalliance that you're seeing between Jalang and the president. We've seen him making some videos with the president. The other day he was with the president, and then, speaking about Atlanta and the things that they're planning to do. Jalang also came out to say that he's been told by the president that he should go for the senatorial seat. What are your take about Jalango and his quest for the senatorial position? Does he have, what it takes? Can he be compared, or can he battle it out with Edwin Sifuna, in your own take?
It doesn't have wherewithal, but politics doesn't work that way. He cannot match Sifuna when it comes to legislation. He cannot match Sifuna when it comes to representation. He cannot match Sifuna when it comes to oversight. But politics doesn't work that way. I just want to give him a benefit of doubt. I will not rule him out. But you have asked me about the issue of their relationship currently with the head of state. Remember, before Jalas became a politician or Langata lawmaker, they have been friends before. They were the president. They have been having affair with the president before. He only left president when he went to get the ticket for ODM for Langata. Then after he was elected, he was seen in State House some months after election. So nothing has changed. It has been the same romance which was there before and even right now. So they have been friends. They have been working closely together. They are in contact, and it's on. So I think what I want to say is that I have no problem with their relationship because they have been friends before, and I cannot select for the last friends. You can have your friends the way you want. I cannot decide for him whom to friend or not. That is his personal, private choice. What I've realized is that the president actually has promised people many positions. You have talked of Jalas alone, but remember, the same president has promised like 9 people Nairobi governor in the UDA ticket with possible running mates from ODM. He has promised many people many things. So if he can promise Jalas, then that is up to him. They know what they're doing. But back in his mind, he must bear that many people have been promised many things with this president. The way he has promised many people deputy president position, including Wanga. Now Wanga thinks that he's going to use Oburu to get to go to Ruto to be deputy president. Sifuna has gone with the people. Babu has gone with the people. He is there with the Oburu alone. He has promised even Mudavadi. He's even talking with Kalonzo right now that if you come to my camp, I'll give the deputy president position. So he's promising people many things. So that is part of politics, part of conning, part of being cunning, and so on and so forth.
Okay, thank you so much, and for your take. And this match that is still coming out. I don't know whether you saw the United Opposition going to the Vigilance House to seek for, just clarity on what has been happening in the country. Amongst the other things that they went to get to understand is the action that will be taken to the people, the goons that have been invading. I don't know whether you saw that, and what are your takes? They're saying that soon they're going to plan a demonstration if their pleas are not really taken seriously. Do you think going to the vigilance or seeking attention from the police headquarters would make it, would solve the problems that are currently being faced by the opposition leaders, especially whenever they're having rallies and then goods are coming, disrupting, and police are also joining? What are your take on that as well?
Personally, I support Mandamano. I support demonstration anytime, any day, any moment. I'll be the first person defending right to protest, right to demonstrate, right to picket, right to assemble, and right to present petition to the authority. That is now my first job. I'll be defending each and every person who do it peacefully and unarmed. We are there to defend you. We are there to be part of you. We are there to protect, uphold the Constitution. That's our duty. So whenever anyone has called for mandamano, demonstration, picketing, assembly, peacefully and unarmed, you got our back. So what I want to say is that When they stormed Vigilante today and wanted to seek an audience with the IG, Douglas Kanja, they found out that actually he fled away, and they met the spokesperson. So they could not discuss matters operation with the spokesperson. There was issue between police operation and policies, that there is an interference from the CS internal security matters of operation, that is actually the person commanding the police officers and giving them instructions on how to operate. He wanted to get clarification from the IG himself, but the spokesperson was there, so they could not discuss matters operation with the spokesperson. They had to leave to get appointment on Friday, and I believe that from next week they demonstrate. So let them just demonstrate, because through demonstration, that's the only language that the regime usually listens to. Demonstration is the only language that they can listen to. So from the president, demonstration has done us wonders. Through demonstration, today we are celebrating our 2010 constitution, very progressive constitution. Through demonstration, we are a multi-party democracy state. Through demonstration, today we are a self-determined state. Through demonstration, we have accommodated ourselves as diverse Kenyans. Demonstration good anytime, any day, any moment. We support demonstration. We fully support demonstration, picketing, assembly, unarmed, peacefully, without infringing others people's right, without interfering in the people's life and people's property. We are there. So Makubura, anytime, any moment, they call demonstration, we will be there.
Okay, thank you so much. And Ndiyo, on the other side, is saying that he's telling the government to stop the sale of Safaricom, or he will share the phone number of the buyers to the public. That is, the buyers are the Vodacom, so that the people of Kenya can have an interaction with them. The reason why he's saying this is because the government has not disclosed, and has not explained the many questions that are being asked by the people. And the question I'm asking you is, where can this end? Good.
Okay, this can end in court, because there ought to be public participation, and there ought to be disclosure to the public, the willing buyer. The willing buyer ought to be known to the public. What if the public want to or are interested in purchasing? Are they now restricted from doing so? We are going to end in court, and that is something that is very much fundamental, because the issue of public participation, the issue of disclosure, when you want to sell the shares to a foreign company, there ought to be what we call public participation. There ought to be called disclosure of all material facts to the public. There's no disclosure. But if there is a person, or whom we call, if there's an insider who has got the information, can actually share with the public so that we can know. Remember, we had the insider who disclosed the material facts on the Adani deal concerning JKA, and the deal was stopped because it was not in proper with the constitution, with the provisions of the rule of law. So anybody who is there, let him disclose, even if it's in your. But I think we end in court. Back to you.
Before we leave the issue of Ndiyo, he's also saying that it's part of the question that he was asked, and he did say that he's not supposed to be associated with the UDA, and that if there are people who have accepted that they are part of opposition, then he's part of that opposition. Maybe your view, with the combination of Ndiyo and the likes of Sifuna, Babu, and the entire opposition, what are the political strength that they can have? Can he bring, what can he add on the political limelight, especially the opposition side?
Didi Nyoro is an asset. Didi Nyoro is an asset because he's a young, he's brave, he's gifted, he's one of the people who have demonstrated that it's very much possible and easy to be done. Bring him on board because he has confessed that he's part of the opposition, if there's something in existence called opposition. So actually, he has distanced himself from the current regime. And if he can join the current movement, the Linda Mwananchi, it's a plus. He's a plus to the team. And no, when Didi Nyoro can actually join that team, Didi Nyoro is going to play first 11 and is not going to be on bench. He's going to play first 11, and even if he is injured, the match will still go on, and he can be actually the captain or the deputy captain. So still, he will be playing first 11 without substitution, and he will play forward. So let him come to the team. We have like 3 forwards. He'll be part of the 3 forwards. He'll play. He can even give an assist to the future president. So he will give an assist, and the future president will have an easy time to score. So I think he is an asset. I'm one of his fan, and you know that one very well. Even when he was in UDA and when we were in ODM, I still embrace him because the way he was articulating issues during campaign, the way he was defending the bottom-up economic model, the way he was trying to connect with the people, the way he was spreading his gospel, very articulative, very sensitive, without interference, too much resourceful when it comes to economics, trying to view Kenya in a different angle from the current people, trying to view Kenya from a different angle from the old guards. So it's a plus. Let him come to the opposition. He can have his jersey, maybe number 10. Then he'll give an assist on number 9. Then I think William Ruto will go home.
Okay, thank you so much. And maybe if you can also give us your view on the Russian guy who has been who did things which are not really right for the people of Kenya, and he's been trending here and there. And apparently, we've seen the government through the cabinet secretary Cheptumo have said that they are going to, wameanzisha uchunguzi hasa wa hizo video na alisema kwamba hizo vitu zote zimekiuka sheria za huku nchini. Just your view, what are your views on this, and why would it go to this extent that foreigner could get to the country and then get involved into activities which are not really right? Just your view, and what are the expectations of the people? Is the government really doing enough to ensure that such things are not seen again in the country? Just your view.
I wanted to reserve my comments because I don't want to comment on personal issues. But because right now it's a public concern, I'll give my view. But personally, I have no issue. I have no problem. I have no any idea on how somebody operate privately. If someone decides to do his things privately, that is up to him. I got no duty and obligations to dictate on how somebody should operate, on how somebody should date, on how somebody should hang out. That is his own life, and he's a content creator. The only thing I can do is just to defend his right to do content. But there's an issue here I want to discuss here very effectively. I'm not supporting the Russian guy, neither do I support the Kenyan women. What I just want to say, even though he did whatever he did by making content, but where I want to defend, not defend per se, but where I want to give him a little bit of credit is that he never exposed the nudes of those women. If you have seen the video where he exposed their nudes, then you can share with me, but I've never seen. At least he has respected their private life, that right to privacy. But in terms of meeting someone in public, having conversation, giving in, and also letting in, those are now his own things, his own content. But where I have to also say he has not exposed these people's nudes to the public. It could be terrible. But right now, this is now what we can call private litigation, whereby I can decide to do private litigation if he committed those, because he took my video without my consent. He took my pics without my consent, then sharing it to the public. I can decide to do my private litigation. I can decide to do an inquiry. But what makes the case so complex is that, remember, he's not a Kenyan, he's a Russian guy. This is now where international laws comes in, what we call divergent and convergent of international laws. This is how international laws now converge here. They want the guy to be tried in Kenya. He's going to be tried as a foreigner. The issues of extradition, the issues of deportation, and when the guy is being tried, is he going to be tried against the public or against individuals? And if the guy, maybe the Russian law does not permit the guy to be tried, how are you going now to relate these two different legal systems? This is now where the rubber meets the road. Very complex, very detailed, and all in all, it now depends on the individual. Though members of the public might have a view over it, but does it mean that he committed crimes against the public? To me, no. If there is any offense he committed here, maybe it was committed individual by individual, because now you can sue separately that exposing your private activities. But remember, in my initial submission, I stated that I don't have any problem with how you do your things. Makobura, if you decide to do those things, for instance, that is your own self-decision. If you decide to do whatever you want to do, that I don't like engaging into private issues to the people. But what I've learned from the moral of the story, I've learned is that always do rightful things, always do good, even if there's no one watching you, just do the good things. But you understand, most of the people are victims of the circumstances. I don't want to castigate anybody. I don't want to look down upon anybody. People have past, people have mistakes, and he who has not commit any crime should be the first to cast a stone. The Christ of Nazarene, who is the person who should condemn, did not condemn the immoral woman. He simply told the woman that, go and sin no more. That's why I said the moral of the story, always do good, right things, even if no one is watching you. Even if you're the president of the Republic of Kenya, do not steal the public offers, thinking that we are not watching you. One day we will catch up with you. Makubura, back to you.
Okay, thank you so much for your take. Allow me to remind our viewers that this is with the Benson Media, and over here we do say that your opinion counts. If you are watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us. Na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. I want to take again this opportunity to just appreciate our good friend like MOU, thank you so much, and good year, thank you so much. Brenda, thank you so much. Paul, thank you so much. And everyone who is watching us, thank you so much for finding time to be with us. If you've not liked or subscribed, kindly do so. Like I saying, the government should offer the sale of Safaricom shares to the public. You can buy those shares overnight and have the company remain Kenyan owned. Okay, maybe we could give you a chance to just give your views on these remarks before we give your final remarks. Why did they tear gas the opposition? Miguda will give you a take on that. The Madam Me will be used effectively to sign documents as Deputy Secretary General as the court case drags on. ODM uses thuggery tactics in its operation. Okay. And then ODM or ODA are copying and pasting Raila in Oburu. Okay. Kwani UDA ni copy and paste. They started with 2 term from 1 term. Ati mimi Ndiyo Ruto yao. Okay. Migude, just your take on these comments before you give us your final remarks.
Oh, my final thoughts before I give you out my final thoughts. What I want to say, the issue of tear gas. Tear gas is, to me, tear gas is normal because we have been tear gas many times. We have been tear gas. And tear gas, to me, the government is in panic. They are in panic mode. They are fearing the people. They think that if people are given an inch opportunity, they'll move to State House and overthrow them. That's why if people are assembling peacefully and armed, they disturb them by tear gas because they don't want the people to gather. And people can march, a million march to State House. So they are fearing. So don't worry. That is very good, very interesting if they are tear gassing us, because if they could have not tear gas the people, it means they will be comfortable. We don't want to make them comfortable. They must be in panic mood until we restore back our country to where it's supposed to be. So, Makubara, my final thoughts, I just like to appreciate our viewers who have come to the show. Appreciate you for hosting Bro Benson, Bro Msmamo, Bro Jose, for this wonderful evening from my end. I also want to appreciate our viewers who have come to the show. Paul Kisianga, thank you so much for coming and your contribution to the comment section. Brenda Obedi, thank you for locking in. Our good friend, good year, thank you for coming, and also thank you for supporting us. May good God bless you always. You have at least put a smile on our brother's face, so that is very good. I also saw Glike, thank you for coming and also for your insightful input to the issue of shares and the issue of ODM and UDA. We'll meet tomorrow. and bye bye everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Allow me to also take this opportunity to first thank you for being consistent and also not forgetting our viewers and everyone who is watching and has watched or liked, has even subscribed. We really appreciate. And I want to remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. Over here, we do say that your opinion counts. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate everyone who joined us. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, like. Thank you so much, Good Day. We really appreciate your your support. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much. And wherever you are, I want to take this opportunity to wish you all then a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. See you again tomorrow.